Okay, recording video on Sunday, the 29th of September 2024. Just gone 5:47 a.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So the video is going to be out a little bit late this week. Apologies for that. Surf's up here in Biarritz finally. So I was out this morning surfing La Grande Plage, which is the big beach in the center of town here. Very beautiful. Anyway, so it's the weekend and time for another weekend futures market recap, where I go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I'm seeing on my charts. Do hope you had a good week's trading. We finally busted through the 5,800 level on the E-mini, which was good. But I don't think it's all over. Got some signs of short-term weakness and some signs of long-term strength. Then we've got interesting things happening on the Japanese yen, 10-year notes, and crude oil. So those are important charts to look at this weekend. But we're going to start as usual with the E-mini charts, daily all the way down to the tick bar charts, and then we'll go through the futures markets, starting with the euro. But anyway, so here we are. This is the daily chart, the E-mini at es.d. And we're in an uptrend. The background on the left-hand chart here, the background's in red, which means we're in an uptrend in terms of price and volume. Last time we saw blue professional bars, they were buying the dip here, and so there's nothing to signal that they're getting out at these 5,800 levels. We've got a neutral reading on better momentum. We've got two cyclical signs of weakness potentially coming in here, resistance levels to print. We've got an intermediate and a short time frame. The lowest time frame has gone off there. You can see those little white dots there. We push through and we could be caught by the next highest time frame, which is cyclical resistance on the intermediate time frame. We're due in terms of timing, but we've not got a confirmation in terms of price. That's not printed yet, which will be a pullback to end of trend sequence on the intermediate time frame. So it's pretty important. So on the higher time frame chart, the daily chart, this uptrend is not over, although we might be finding a little bit of resistance coming up here. 135-minute chart. There is actually three 135-minute bars in a day session of the E-mini, and here you can see there's that support on the highest time frame here on the 135-minute chart, which is the intermediate time frame here on the higher time frame chart. So that support is running out, pullback to end of trend. But here we push through a resistance and a second resistance on the intermediate time frame. And when we have little pushes above the resistance level, it just shows that the market is still strong. If the market were really weakening, they would just bounce off that resistance level and you never see that again. We just drop from there quite quickly. But we pushed up through it, which means we've still got upside momentum. We could drop off a little bit and come back up, but it means that that level is not going to be the one that necessarily is going to turn everything around. In terms of better pro-am, on this chart, we've got nothing to show that we're topping out. We've not got amateur bars at those highs. We've not got blue professional bars at those highs. The only thing that's a little bit concerning is we've got a very negative read on better momentum here, minus 91,000. The peak that we had up here was a very big read, 160. This read here, what was that, about 101. So 91 is getting there in terms of being a significant read. So there could be a little bit of a rush there, but we didn't see it on the upside. This was exhaustion buying getting this move going. It wasn't exhaustion buying ending that move. So this is flipped to the other side, if you like, before we'll have a bounce back from there. So it's interesting that with not very much price weakness during the week's activity, we actually had some pretty big negative reads on better momentum, which is selling volume now. 45-minute chart. Here, again, better pro-am shows nothing at the highs there in terms of amateur bars, professional bars. The trailing stop is miles away. Here we've got a minus 53 read, and the read that we had here was 52,000. That was getting this move going. So on the flip side, that's pretty good. That means there's exhaustion momentum there that will signal on the next few bars on the 45-minute chart, and potentially we've got to come down and be caught by a support and a bullish divergence and so on. So the uptrend is not over, but there's quite a lot of profit taking happening up here at the highs. Again, we keep on pushing through these resistance levels here and here and here, and it just shows the market is strong. If we were bouncing off those, just like we did here, here's a support level that comes in, bang, we bounce off it straight away, and the market's changed trend. A support level, market bounces straight off it, and it shows a change in trend. When we're keeping pushing through it, it just shows the market is strong, the momentum is strong. So are we going to come back down from these levels to a cyclical support on the intermediate time frame next, where these two flip around, come down to negative 100 and cross, and we bounce from there? So it's possible. It's these negative momentum reads that are getting me interested on what's going on the downside. So here we go, 15-minute chart, next time frame down, and here we've got exhaustion cells down here. But throughout all of last week's trade on the 15-minute, there was no blue professional bars, no amateur bars at these highs and so on. So we had a nice gap up that people took advantage of. They sold that gap, taking profits, and they kept on selling into the end of the week. But that's not a topping pattern, that's a taking profits pattern, and then they'll get wrong-footed as we break through that level, whatever this was at the highs up here at 58.27, until we see exhaustion buy patterns on the upper side of the price bars. That's when the market's really over and rolling. So here we go, we're pushing through these resistances, the market's still strong. But do we need to come down and catch some support levels here before this turns around and heads back up to test those highs? 13,500 tip bar chart. Now you can see here we've got all these signs of weakness. It's like we've been looking for a turn on this time frame. But even at cyclical resistance on the highest time frame here, you can see we just keep on pushing up and up and up through it, and they're signaling these signs of weakness, and they go nowhere, and we bounce immediately from these patterns. This one looks a little bit more certain that it's going to drop through that cyclical support on the intermediate time frame there, so that's interesting. In terms of volume patterns this week, some blue professional bars up at the highs here, but then we kept on going through the 5800 level here. Exhaustion buys at these highs. There were no blue professional bars taking profits. Amateur up bars into these highs, getting wrong-footed, and we got some blue professional bars at the end of the week. Big pro bars coming in here. So does that mean we're going to have a little bit of weakness into Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll catch and we'll bounce and we'll test up through those highs? So on the longer term time frame charts, like the uptrend is not over. We're seeing some weakness, particularly these negative momentum reads on the lower time frame charts, and I'm wondering if we have to come down, find some blue professional bars, find some bullish divergence patterns that come in here. When that triggers, that'll go off. We'll then probably need to settle in and find a bullish divergence pattern. So that's my thoughts on the E-mini. Let us look at the Forex charts. I'm actually going to do things in a little bit of a different order. I'm going to go to the Japanese yen and the 10-year notes because they tend to be a little bit counter trend. So when they start to signal strength, it's like usually the risk on markets are signaling weakness. So can we get a little bit of an appreciation of what's going on here with these charts? And this is Japanese yen with this week's activity. Beginning of the week is a vertical solid yellow line. End of the week here, and you can see bang down here at the bottoms. Exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, flush patterns. We keep on going through those lows. More blue professional bars coming at the lows. That's what I like to see. And then we've got big pro bars step in here, buying the gap and go. This market just took off to the upside. Big pro bars need to get in, bang, and we're away. A little bit of a test down here, amateur down bars. We keep on going. This thing is not over because we've not seen blue professional bars at the highs. The trailing stop is miles away. So we're in an uptrend on Japanese yen, and it's signaled down here with better sine wave down at these lows, pull back to end of trend on the intermediate time frame, we come back up, bit of a U-turn, bang, we just blasted to the upside. But you know, it's the professionals and the big professionals that you got to keep a lookout for. So that is super important. Professionals right at the lows, and then when the big pros step in and get this thing going, that's important. So the Japanese yen is strengthening. 10-year notes also strengthening down here. Now, exhaustion sell, bullish diversion, amateur down bars, blue professional bars coming at the end of the week. They weren't down here at the lows, which is interesting. Cyclically, though, this thing does look like it's turned around. You can see here on better sine wave. We're in a downtrend, pull back to end of trend, and then second cyclical turn after end of trend. We keep on overshooting. Signs of strength here, and we've broken. All these bars are in red, which shows we're in an uptrend in terms of better sine wave, and the background here is turned into red, which means we're above better pro-am, and better sine wave is showing an uptrend as well. So 10-year notes, interesting that they look like they're flipping around and strengthening. So that's interesting. And then I was going to talk about crude, because that's also bottomed nicely. I think we're at the beginning of the bottoming stage in crude. So this week, the 3000 tip bar chart here, exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, blue professional bars at the lows. They come in, test blue professional bars here, and big pro bars come in. The background's in blue and the bars are blue. That means there's a extra high average trade size. Really important. Professionals come in here. It's just like they were selling. We got an exhaustion buy, and then that little bit of strength, they were selling it down here, and then on that weakness here, they sold it down, stair-step trade, bang. Here, the market's turned around. The background's in red. Big pro bars have come in here. 67 and a bit was low, and we're at 68 and a bit, and it looks like that's rallying on. And again, better sine wave. Here's the market topping out, finally with a pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame there, and then we roll, go the other way, pullback to end of trend on the low time frame. So here we go. This is nice. Pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, followed by pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame around a cyclical support of the highest time frame. This is end of trend signals rippling through the time frames. A left shoulder, the head of the move, and now we're breaking into an uptrend. The bars are in red, so it's an uptrend in terms of a better sine wave, and the big pro bars have stepped in, we're racing away. So it's interesting. Japanese yen 10-year notes, crude are looking strong. Euro, not so much. Not a classic topping out, because this week's activity, we didn't have exhaustion buy at the highs. We had exhaustion buy back here, and then we rallied on. We did have professional bars right at the high here at, what is that, 1240, which was nice, and we sold off from there. And then here, more blue professional bars on a stair step down. So the move's not over on the downside, because we've not seen professional bars at the lows, and they were selling it down here. So Euro's looking weak. British pound, can we see the same type of pattern into those highs at 34? With all the BS that's going on with the UK politics at the moment, it's amazing that British pound has been so strong, just rallying and rallying up to 34s, which is incredibly strong, given that the confidence in the UK government is shot. Poor old Keir Starmer is being called Queer Starmer, and I don't know what the hell is going on with this Lord Ali. So it's a mess, but the currency keeps on strengthening. Was not, well, one blue professional bar here up the highs, and blue professional bars selling it down. We didn't have exhaustion buy at those points, but we could have some profit taking up here, because it's been a pretty healthy rally from 130 up to 134. So British pound not looking too rosy. And Aussie dollar, here we have an exhaustion pattern. So this is nice. Exhaustion buy, blue professional bars with big pro bars here right at the highs, mirroring. So I talk about the momentum patterns mirroring each other. Here's the low being made back at the beginning of September. Exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, big pro bars coming in, picking it up here at the lows here, and then getting the move going, bang. We test into the lows of those blue professional bars, and the market rallies on. But there's the exhaustion sell at that point. This is exhaustion buy getting the move going. We have a little bit of profit taking, pretty heavy profit taking, but ends up with an exhaustion sell pattern, and we bounce from there to an exhaustion buy pattern on the upside. This is not unlike what we're seeing on the mini and equities at the moment. It's like the highs have been made this week with no signal in terms of professional bars or amateur bars at those highs, but we're having big readings of momentum on the downside, and it's getting rid of a whole bunch of players that are getting out too early, and then the market makes new highs, and then that's when the real professionals step in. Do we have any professional? No, there's no professional bars here on the lows. It's just a big momentum read on the downside, showing that people were anxiously getting out here. They were too early. The market rallied, and this is when the big professionals, the real professional money, is getting out with an exhaustion buy. So that's mirroring this exhaustion sell. So it's not triggered into a downtrend yet, but let us see on the Aussie dollar. We're still fussing around, pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame here, and you can see we keep on busting up through these resistance levels. You know, if the market were weak, it would just bounce straight off that, but we don't. We push through it, we push through it, and we push through it again here. So the Aussie dollar still got some momentum to it, but watch out, we got those big pro bars coming there. Gold had a superb week. We're up at 2,700 up here, which is excellent. Some blue professional bars at the highs taking profits. I like to see them on the way up here, and we weren't there. So exhaustion sell on the downside. It's turned into a downtrend at the moment, so it's weakening. Gold is weakening, but I'd be looking for the next cyclical support on the highest time frame here when we come back down. We're weak at the moment with these patterns here, but we just need that cyclical support on the highest time frame to come in and bounce from there. Silver did really nicely, taking profits here up at 32.5. And then amateurs got wrong-footed, and I think you'll notice in the news that all of a sudden midweek everybody's talking about silver and how silver was doing so well, everybody needs to buy silver, and the poor old amateurs got suckered into that. A whole bunch of them up to almost, what was the high? Did we get in? High, 33.02, so it bounced off a round number, classic. Rambo to Rambo channel, so you know they bought here, they had their stop down here, they got stopped out here, the market's traded on. And I'm bullish on these precious metals in general, but you've got to buy the lows, buy the dips, and not these runaway trades there. Bitcoin's done very nicely this week. We're up at 66, but big pro bars up here. Market's trading over the weekend, which is nice to see. These bars start to move around. There we go. But big pro bars, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, flush pattern here. So let us see if that rolls this week on Bitcoin. Crude we've talked about. Natural gas Natural gas had a really nice bounce this week. Exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, blue professional bars at 270. Bang, we've ripped back up, but it's flipping to the other side of that trade at the moment. Copper also did pretty well. So it was difficult to say what it was doing last week because we had all these big pro bars coming in here. They weren't at the dips, they were after highs being made, but we kept on going higher and higher. Backgrounds in red. It was a bit tricky that last week to get a clear signal out of copper. But at the moment, signaling to a downtrend, we've got professional bars to the highs, but no exhaustion buy, no big pro bars up here, so we might have to test back up at those highs before this rolls. And then corn, the ags, let us look at it here. So look at this, exhaustion buy, up at these highs, trying to weaken, come back up. Rambo patterns right finally at 420 and big pro bars stepping in here. So is corn going to break through 415 or something like that? Let's see this week. Let's go to the next chart. Here's soybeans. Soybeans again on the dip, exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, big pro bars step in here. They sold it down at this point here and then they step back in, bang, and ripped it higher. Nice uptrend in soybeans. And wheat rallied and then softened, so no exhaustion buy at the highs, one little blue professional bars up at the highs, but it was testing into this level at 600 where we had big pro bars coming in previously, so that's why it's weakened from there. That was just a test into those highs. So there we go, a rip around the charts. It's just gone 6:05 a.m. Chicago time. I'll edit this video, get it out ASAP, so you'll get it shortly. I hope your trading is going well and looking forward to next week's trade.